Hi Spoopies, it's Kaylie again, and let's talk about that Kat Von D, I'm not an anti-Semite, I'm not an anti-vaxxer video. And I don't know why I said it in a weird, like, bear voice like that. So just a disclaimer, I am a longtime fan of Kat Von D's. I don't know, I hesitate to say I'm not really a fan of her herself, like her, the personality per se. She always came off as like a little bit pretentious and, I don't know, try-hardy to me, but I love like her aesthetic, like I love her fashion choices, I love her makeup line. I am a long-term fan of Kat Von D beauty. I own so many Kat Von D like beauty products. It's like not only is it really good quality, but I adore the packaging. It's like really nice to have a makeup brand that has like kind of gothy alternative aesthetic packaging, because I'm all about that aesthetic. And I will even admit, like, I like some of her artwork. I think she's an incredible artist, an incredible tattoo artist, but I never watched her like TV shows or any of that crap. So this, for those who are unfamiliar, like hopefully you've seen the video I'm talking about in this video, or otherwise what are you doing here? Like, go watch it first. But if you have no idea why everyone thinks Kat Von D is an anti-Semite, all that started, like, it's been building up for years and years, really, but the main thing, like, that she addresses in this video is supposedly, when she was getting ready to leave Miami Inc. and, like, go off and start LA Inc., she had a headshot photo that one of the guys she worked with on Miami Inc. alleged was from her, and it had like an anti-Semitic remark written on it to him because I guess he was Jewish. I don't even really know. And so that kind of kicked off the anti-Semitic rumors. But then it exacerbated it because she was linked to dating men such as Jesse James. Yes, the guy who was engaged to Sandra Bullock, who is a collector of Nazi memorabilia. He has, I don't know if he has Nazi tattoos. Maybe he used to, but they were covered up. But he has been shown in photos to be like doing a Nazi salute and to be dressed up as a Nazi and shit like that. And it's also noticeable that after he... there was the whole scandal of him breaking up with Sandra Bullock because he cheated on her with an alternative, like, tattooed model, and Bombshell something, like Bombshell McGee or some crap. And she had, like, swastika tattoos as well. Like, I think she had one on her fucking head or something like that. And she was like, she did a bunch of photo shoots, like wearing like Nazi shit and doing Nazi stuff. So very charming people she chooses to associate with. So there was that whole thing, and I was willing to overlook most of that stuff because all this stuff, like her time on Miami Inc., like her time when she was dating / engaged to Jesse James, like that was the period in her life where she was still like heavily under the influence of drugs and alcohol, from what I understand. And she was really heavily into that partying lifestyle, and her life was just kind of like a mess, to hear her talk about it. And I know that's no excuse. I never like to give people the out of like, oh, well, they were on drugs or alcohol or under the influence of something, and that's why they, were such a shitty person. But none of it had been linked to Kat Von D herself. Like, there's no pictures of her doing a Nazi salute or shit like that. So I just kind of chalked it up to like, well, she was at a really bad place in her life. She was doing really bad things. She was self-medicating. She was hanging out with the wrong people and just making lots of bad decisions, basically. And I don't know. I'm like, I feel like I'm a little bit of a naive person. Like, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, even when a lot of other people aren't willing to. And so I wasn't happy about these aspects of Kat Von D's past. I didn't like them. I didn't want to just brush them under the rug and pretend they didn't happen. But it seemed to me that she was making strides to like really dissociate herself from those type of people and those type of messages now. So I was like, well, maybe that was just like her dark past and she's moved on from that. Now a lot of people are saying that her current husband, Prayers, who I might be the only person in the universe who kind of knew who he was before he got with Kat Von D, because I actually listened to his music. It's like the most like stereotypical, like if you imagine like stereotypical goth music, like it's that. But it's kind of fun in like a goofy sort of way. But anyway, her current husband, Prayers, a lot of people have noticed that he had a swastika tattoo. He does, or he used to. I'm not totally sure. I'm not clear on that. Might be that whole stupid thing where it's supposed to be like, you know, the Buddhist or whatever version of a swastika. It's not called a swastika, it's called something else, but it's basically reversed from the Nazi swastika, and people are misinterpreting it or whatever. I'm not sure why you would even get that as a tattoo, because it could be so easily misinterpreted. I'm not sure why you would even risk getting a tattoo like that, because it could so easily be misinterpreted by people, and it seems like a really bad idea. But again, bad ideas, bad decisions, that seems to be a recurring theme here in Kat Von D's life. So that's where all the anti-Semitic shit comes from. But in her video, Kat only addresses the one instance with the headshot and the anti-Semitic message that happened like 1,000 years ago, which nobody really cares about anymore. I didn't really care. She goes on about this for like the majority of the video, for like 7 or 8 minutes or something. The video was just her talking about like how she was framed and this guy wrote this shit on the headshot to get back at her or whatever. I don't know if I believe it. It seems probable to me that like being a 22-year-old under the influence of drugs and alcohol, that maybe in a spiteful moment when she realized she was getting out of here, she wasn't going to be under control of these men that allegedly like abused and did all this horrible stuff to her, that she would have maybe written a nasty message on a picture to get back at this guy, and just a final F you sort of thing, and gave it to him. And then when it came back and bit her on the ass, been like, oh shit, you know, I forgot that, you know, writing something down is kind of permanent and other people were going to see it. And so like, I wouldn't be surprised if she really did do that and then tried to cover her ass by saying someone else, like he did it. The part that bothered me is she didn't address like all the men she's dated that have anti-Semitic ties or anything like that. And to me, that was the most compelling evidence to her being somehow anti-Semitic, or at least being sympathetic to people that are. And the thing that pissed me off the most in this video is how she starts it off by being like, oh, like people are ignorant. They think I'm white because I'm light-skinned, but I'm actually a Latina, and blah, blah, blah. And I remember like at the start of the video when I first watched it, I was like, what does this have to do with anything? And then as she started to go into her spiel, I was like, did she really just give the whole like, I can't be racist because I'm like blank, whatever, not white race? Can I, like the whole I can't be anti-Semitic because I'm from an oppressed group argument? What? In this, the year of our Lord, 2019, you're going to use that as an argument. It's just, wow. So that pissed me off, and I thought was just really stupid. It's like, why did you even go there? And the main thing about all these accusations leveled at Kat that I have, like, the one thing I haven't been able to kind of let her have a pass on and just give her the benefit of the doubt is the whole vaccination thing. So for those of you who don't know, like, back when she was pregnant with her child, sometime last year, I think she addresses in this video, like, one of her friends on Twitter asked her about vaccinations or something, and she just casually mentioned that they weren't going to vaccinate their child. But I think the thing that kicked most people off and the way most people heard about it was on her Instagram. She made this post about, like, oh, how everyone was so judgmental and mean to her, even her family, because she wanted to have a natural birth without doctors, and she wanted to raise her child vegan and all this shit. And I'm just like, nobody cares about any of this. But the one thing she put in there, and she was like, oh, and not vaccinate our child. Like, people are so mean to us about that. And it's like, well, yeah, you're, like, literally choosing to endanger the lives of, like, tons of other people's children, other people that have autoimmune diseases, other people that, for whatever reason, can't get vaccinated or can't vaccinate their children. Like, read up on herd immunity and what that is. And that just... people rightly got outraged with her. If you want to know more about it, Ready to Glare did a really good video on it. I'll put it in the description. And she also started calling Kat Von D, like, Kat Von Whooping Cough, like Kat Von Polio and stuff like that. And it was like, it kills me. It's so funny. But it's not funny because this is literally, like I said, it's literally putting children and people with immune deficiency problems in danger, because you have this arrogant idea in your mind about raising this pure, wholesome little granola child that has never touched a needle or whatever. And I hate how she addressed it in this video, because what I was hoping for, I knew it probably wasn't going to happen, but what I was hoping for was that she would come on and she'd be like, okay, I did lots of research. I read all the info that people have been sending me. And I realized that herd immunity is a real thing, that vaccinations are a real thing, and they save lives. And so I realized I was wrong, and I was looking at information through a distorted lens. And so now I'm going to vaccinate my child. Yay. That's what I was hoping for, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. And essentially she was just like, oh, it was a mistake for me to publicly let our desires, like, about vaccinating our child be known. And that was my mistake. Not that I didn't want to vaccinate my child was a mistake, but just the fact that I told people about it was a mistake. And now I'm just not going to let my decision be known, and I'm not going to talk about it. Which sounds like a huge cop-out to me. It's basically like, oh, I'm still not going to vaccinate our kid, but I'm just not going to tell you guys about it. Just like, fine. And I like how she said, oh, we're not going to disclose the medical records of our son. Literally no one was asking for that. Like, I don't give a shit about your kid's medical records. I just want to know that you're not contributing to all this toxic information about vaccinations and contributing to this resurgence in preventable diseases in America. Like, there's fucking measles outbreaks and shit again. And this is 2019. This is 2019, and we're having, like, measles outbreaks and shit because of people like you spreading this misinformation about vaccinations. It drives me crazy. And the thing, a lot of people have speculated that she fell for the anti-vaxxer crap about how vaccinations cause autism and stuff like that. And I'm not 100% convinced that's why she's against vaccinations. I remember I saw a tweet between her and... One thing you have to understand about Kat Von D, like, I follow her on Instagram, so I've seen a lot of this stuff, but she is one of those, like, vegans with a capital V, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a problem with vegans. It's like, I would like to go vegan someday, in all honesty, but I have no problem with vegans, but she is one of those, like, vegans with a capital V. And what I mean by that is it's like almost like a religion to her. Like, it's she gets like evangelical about veganism. Like she stops short of calling people like murderers and shit like that. But I think only because she knows how angry people would get and how big the backlash would be against her if she did. I feel like in her private life, she probably gloats about how great she is for being a vegan and how everyone else are like blood-eating murderers or whatever. But, yeah, she goes on and on evangelizing about veganism. So, and I saw on her Twitter, like another vegan friend of hers, like they were lightly discussing stuff, like vegan stuff for babies, which is fine. But her one friend warned her, she was like, oh, and look out for vaccinations for this and this because it has like chicken egg protein in it. And it just kind of took me aback. And I was like, is that why she's not vaccinating her kid? Is because she wants this pure godlike vegan granola child that has never touched an animal product, never ingested an animal product in its life. So she's willing to not vaccinate it and risk like the child getting disease, the child spreading disease, because vaccinations usually have egg protein in them. Like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that is the reason, if that is the logic behind why she is anti-vax. Yeah, those are my thoughts and feelings upon first watching her video. It just felt really flaccid and weird to me, and she didn't really address any of the points that I personally cared about. How did you feel about it? I also kind of hated that she had like a letter to her haters at the end. Just felt so like, why are you appealing to your haters? It's like, if people already hate you and are your haters, you're probably not going to change their minds. And it's like, why wouldn't you address the people who have continued to like stand by you and support you instead? I don't know. It was like a weird decision to me. I get the appeal to like, oh, spread love and kindness, and it's like, yeah, I agree with that. I think the world would be a better place if people spent more time and energy on trying to be kind and understanding of others. I don't think anybody, including her, deserves people like harassing her and telling her that they hope her baby dies. That's fucking awful. No one should be saying that to her. I'm sure they say all kinds of disgusting things. I don't want any harm to befall her or her family. But it's a very emotionally charged issue when you start making a decision that's not just for you and your family. It's not just for you and your baby. It's something that's going to affect, the community around your baby. So people get very emotional and upset about stuff like that. And I think it's kind of understandable. Is it just me? But is it just me, or I feel like she kind of just used this video as an excuse to just kind of throw a pity party and be like, ooh, look how mean everybody's being to me. Like, don't you feel sorry for me? People are just telling me they wish my baby would die and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that's awful. But I don't know. It seemed very self-pitying to me. And then I also thought it was kind of telling that she seemed to only want to make this video and get this stuff out there after so many people have started boycotting her brand and they're not buying her makeup anymore. Which, yeah, is really shitty. I'm honestly thinking about boycotting her too and not buying her makeup anymore, because anti-vaxxing is an issue that bothers me and I feel really strongly about. And if someone's spreading that misinformation, I don't want to support them. This all just seemed like a ploy to like save face. It's like, I would be horrified if anyone thought I was an anti-Semite or an anti-vaxxer, and I would want to lay those rumors to rest immediately. But she literally sat on this for like years, not doing anything until people started boycotting her brand. And I think that's kind of telling of where a person's priorities are. So what do you think? Do you think her video was sincere? Do you think she was just kind of trying to cover her ass? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you'd like me to do more like opinion videos about this, about whatever. And so yeah, let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. And I'm going to go eat a giant salad before I go to work now. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and you want to. But yeah, I'll see you later. And never forget that you are beautiful just the way you are, and to always be yourself. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.